going on, everybody? Chase on Two Wheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell to ride the brand new to the market Triumph Trident. This is their 2021 brand new bike that they just came out with. Now, Mountain is not a Triumph dealer, but you guys know I have my route that I always like to take on my first rides, so we always start at Mountain. But Triumph is actually letting us borrow this. We've only got it for a couple days, so we're only going to be able to get a first ride out on it. But hopefully, I can convince them to let me have another one for a little bit longer period of time. And guys, without further ado, let's get this first ride started. And make sure to stick around to the end of the video, and we'll figure out where this Triumph belongs in the market today. Let's get it going. Alright guys, now you guys know having a camera car on these videos ain't cheap, so let's talk about the sponsor of today's video. Wait, there's no sponsor today? Oh, well here, let me tell you about Wreck Bike Rebuild and how you can win motorcycles that my team and I build. That'll be the sponsor. One second. Alright guys, sponsorship talk over, sound check over, cinematics over. Let's ride this thing. Look at the dash, bro, I'm here for it. Alright, real quick, before we get started, I have got really bent legs. I'm low to the ground, guys. We are definitely on a motorcycle that is friendly for new riders, so we're in it first. Let's go. Quick opportunity, let's go. Ah! All right, so Triumph has got some balls putting this thing out, guys. So we're here on the 2021 Triumph Trident. This bike has a 660 engine. Didn't trust that car at all. So this bike has a 660cc engine, and it is coming in right smack in the middle of the middleweight class, which, if you guys don't know, has some stiff competition. The bikes this thing is going to be compared with: the Ninja 650, the Suzuki SV650S, the Honda CB 650 are like, we are talking, how could I forget the freaking Yamaha MT-07. How much stiffer competition can you get in a class? Like, the fact that Triumph's coming in with this is ballsy. So let's find out what it's got. So real quick, let's talk about body position. Legs, super comfortable. They're only bent up a little bit. I'd call them a medium amount of bend in my legs. Back is only slightly forward. Arms are kind of falling down. Handlebars are here, kind of like a mid-level. Feels very good. I am extremely comfortable. I've got plenty of room here on the seat to kind of move around and find a little position. I love the body position on this thing. So guys, one of the cool things about the Trident here is that we're starting to see motorcycle modes finally trickle down to the vast majority up to the middleweight bikes. For the longest time, the modes for motorcycles were all just up at the top, and then, you know, we would get some every now and then down in the middle level. But now I'm thinking almost every middleweight bike has modes here in 2021. Who would have thought? Next thing you know, we'll have modes on the 300 class. Now, I got to be honest, rain mode, it does feel tapered down. I'm sure the ABS, which the bike has, the traction control, which the bike has, all of that is going to be affected by the mode. And I think I kind of spoiled myself because I was in road mode having a good time, and now I clicked it down into rain mode, and I'm like, well, this isn't what I want now. So real quick, it is good that it has modes, and it's good that the modes are so different that I was having fun in road mode, but obviously we have a beautiful day here today. I have no need to be in rain mode, so because I messed up, I'm going to put it back in road mode. I'm going to hit the OK button. I'm going to close the throttle, and now I'm back in road mode. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm wanting on this bike. Woohoo! So yeah, guys, I'm really happy to see modes on the vast majority of bikes these days in the middle class. Modes are especially important on a bike like this that somebody could consider for their first motorcycle. Like, I love that so much. I feel like that is one of the spots where modes make the most sense. Let's do a little bit of hard, bro. Fuck. Woo! That braking is no joke. I was looking at the stat sheet on this thing because you guys might know Triumph is a premium company. Typically, when you grab a Triumph, you are getting the best of the best stuff on the bike. You're going to have Olin suspension. You're going to have Brembo brakes. And when I was looking at this bike, I saw that it had the Nissan brakes, which a lot of Yamaha bikes have. But I was kind of worried about it. I was like, man, they're not going to have the Brembos. It's not going to brake well. I disagree. I think it can. It's especially for the engine size that it is. Real quick, we do need to talk about, there are going to be comparisons from this to the Street Triple. Now, if you guys don't know, the Street Triple is Triumph's other naked bike. And if I'm going to be honest, when I saw that the Trident was coming out and I saw that it was going to have a 660 engine, what is the point of the Trident if we have the Street Triple? But there is a major point. This motorcycle is Triumph's entry-level bike. Their bike that if somebody is starting riding on, they could start on something like this. Let me tell you guys the price. This thing, for I would consider Triumph a premium brand. You know, premium being Aprilia, Ducati, Triumph. These are premium brands in the motorcycle category. You can get a premium branded motorcycle for $8,000. If you guys don't know, Yamaha, who is a Japanese brand, who has one of the most popular naked motorcycles to start with, which is the MT-07, I'm pretty sure that bike starts at $7,600. Triumph came in and is offering a premium motorcycle brand to get into their product line for $400 more than Japan bike. What is happening? Also, when I say Japan bike, that's because I see a truck pulling out, and the brain space that my brain was using to talk diverted it to being able to ride. So I had to make a decision on Mr. Cool here with his Z71. Granted, I was being an idiot motorcyclist accelerating a lot. I digress. Since we're stopped here, let's look at the dash, which I am here for. This is a perfect example of how you don't have to have a fancy dash to look cool. It's minimal. I've got my revs, I've got my speed, a gas gauge. I can change this guy around. I can go to the main menu. You know, I've told you guys, Triumph is on the top of their game when it comes to menus. This is a perfect example. I've got a colored TFT dash. I can cycle through information that I need, and this is the stuff that stays, that never moves. Super minimal, super retro looking, but I still get that touch of tech. I don't have to have a motorcycle that's full of technology to like it. I love the attack on this thing. I'm totally here for it. Something else I'm totally here for? Going. Yeah, so far I've really enjoyed the clutch. It has a really good feel. I love the weight that it has on it. I don't love the, oh my God. What are we doing, boys? What are we doing here? All right, let's do this. Oh, freedom. Yes, freedom. Yeah, so the clutch has been feeling really good, guys, and throttle response is very interesting. I am here for this throttle response. It has got the power, like where are we at? 5,000, 6,000? I've got a lot of punch, but a lot of the punch of this bike is down low, which is great for city riding. Like, I have had a ball riding it around here, around town. Let's not hit any cars. And having these handlebars up high, like, I feel like I am in control. The brakes honestly have way more bite than I think a lot of you guys would expect. I've got a little bit of braking up front, very little if you just need to like slowly modulate your speed. But the second you get a handful of the brakes, you get a slight taper on, and then they just bite. Now, let's move on to suspension real quick. One of the things that Triumph had to do from their street triple to make this more cost effective is change the suspension. Instead of something like Öhlins that you would expect, we've got Showa forks that honestly feel great. If anything, they're a little soft for me, but I think that's because when I'm on this bike, I'm having a really good time, and it kind of makes me want to ride it hard. But then when I start riding it hard, the suspension's a little too soft. The unfortunate part is this suspension is not adjustable. I think you can adjust the damping on the rear suspension, but the front, we can't change anything. I wish it was a little harder, if I'm going to be honest, but it's probably because of the way I'm riding it. It's a beautiful day. I'm having a really good time. I'm going to naturally ride the bike harder, and it doesn't necessarily ride better the harder you get. Now we're going to continue our talk. Oh, can we get the green light? Highway test 2021 Triumph Trident. Sorry, I don't get this green light very often, so I got a little excited there. I need to chill out. No, I don't. Don't ride like I do, please. We have a 660cc triple engine. Let's see what it can do on the highway if we don't get hit by that white bag. I'm gonna consider this ample for the highway. Okay, wind is bad. So guys, the only wind protection we have on this bike is this little cluster. There is a lot of wind hitting me right now. It's not, you know what, let's do the thing. You guys always give me crap because I always say the wind's bad, but I'm also going like 95. Let's go at regular human speed. All right, 75. I go to this speed sometimes, so this is not bad. This is manageable. If I had to commute on this bike, I could. I do know that Triumph is one of those companies that does really cool stuff as far as making OEM accessories. Triumph, I would really love if you guys made some sort of windscreen. I don't know if there's a way to connect it up front, but if I had a windscreen and I was using this bike to commute on or something, I really would like a windscreen so that I could get some sort of wind protection. Other than that, though, it feels fine. We're here in 6th gear. I have the bike's chilling, has no problem going to highway speeds. If I want to pass somebody, I can like that. It takes a little longer. I can shift down, rev up. I will say here on the highway, you know, we're up at like 7,000 RPMs. The power has really tapered off. We don't have a ton of pull power right now. Like, we can definitely get going faster. You guys can see my speed is climbing. But you're not going to do it in a really fast fashion. So this is definitely, like, I don't think any of you guys are looking at this bike and being like, I want to go like do really crazy highway speed. So I don't think this is going to be a big deal for any of you guys. The engine can easily handle the highway if you ride like a regular human. And if you're looking for something a little faster here on the highway, you're not looking in the right class. That being said, we're here on the highway. Got about a medium amount of maneuverability here, but I don't feel like I'm wanting anything. I'm going to try to get in front of that white van. I don't want to get stuck behind him on this turn. Alright, we're slowing on down. Yeah, we lose out on a little bit of maneuverability there on the highway, and I'm wondering how this softer suspension is going to work on this turn. Let's see if it settles in. Oh wow, that's not bad. I was kind of worried about this turn, if I'm going to be honest, guys, but that suspension does settle in. You got to slow down a little bit here. Yeah, after riding this thing hard on the streets, I was kind of worried for our big turn. I felt like it was going to bounce around a lot, but I didn't seem to have that problem at all. See, guys, we're down in like the 1st and 2nd gear going 30, 40 miles an hour. This is where, that's a really cool Trans Am. This is where this engine is like in its happy place. Like, we've got such a good amount of torque. I think, I can't remember the exact torque number, but I know it's got like 83 horsepower or something like that. And this class is heating up, guys. This class is going to get popular and popular and popular. And these manufacturers are going to have to start making some really cool stuff. But, like, we're at a light right now. Watch this. This is the power this thing has down low. Front wheel just on an acceleration is popping up. That, my friends, is with traction control on. Can you imagine turning traction control off? Because I don't want to. Oh my goodness. This bike is fun to ride. I love it. Alright guys, let's talk about traction control and ABS. Like I said, the bike has modes. Changing those modes does change the amount of ABS and traction control. Now, something the bike does not have is an IMU. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. IMUs are going to be the next thing that slowly trickle their way all the way down to the middle class bikes. Interestingly, Aprilia, with their Tuono 660, they have an IMU upgrade that you can buy for the motorcycle, which I think revolutionary and very cool. Props to Aprilia on that. But like I said, no IMU here, so when you're leaned over, the bike doesn't know you're leaned over. It just knows if the wheels have traction. It knows if the wheels are stopped. Standing here, I've got to say, guys, I know this is a 660. This bike feels tiny. Like, can you guys tell from the GoPro? Look how thin the gas tank looks. Yeah, and then moving it around, the bike is super light. I think that this is going to massively disrupt the 650 class market. It's a super light bike. Oh wait, we have an adjustable brake lever. Holy crap, hell yeah. So we have an adjustable brake lever. We do not have an adjustable clutch lever, but for a price point motorcycle, that's phenomenal. I feel like Triumph has done a really good job of making a price point motorcycle for people to get into the Triumph brand for a phenomenal package. I did not know that this bike was only $8,000. I don't know how they made it only $8,000, because it doesn't feel like that. Like, I think that's the important part. Anybody, any of these bigger brands, Ducati, Aprilia, anybody can make a motorcycle for the same price as Yamaha can. But the question is, can they make it for that price and then keep all of their brand identity? This motorcycle, especially with the triple that it has in it, feels like a Triumph to me. Huh? This one's brand new from Triumph. I'm loaning it. I'm doing a review on it. Have a good one, man. Okay, great point. You cannot get one of these because they are sold out everywhere. Brian, the guy at Triumph who drops these off for us, when he dropped it off, Triumph is sold out, and they're having a problem having enough of these. And that is the perfect thing, because people are now able to get a premium branded motorcycle for the same price as all the other bikes in its own class. And it is a phenomenal bike, if you guys haven't been able to tell. By the way, I know this is going to sound like one of those Yamaha videos where I just talk really good about the bike. Guys, I am not paid by a single OEM. There is not one OEM motorcycle company that pays me. I say whatever I want, and my whole point is to tell you guys how I feel. Triumph did such a good job. Triumph did such a good job with this thing. Oh my gosh, the middleweight market needed a hot prod in it. It needed somebody to come in and just stick a hot fucking brand in it and be like, all right, let's see how we're all gonna act now. Ah, yes. So, I was telling the guys at the shop this the other day. I know I have my MT-10, or Yamaha's MT-10, and I love that crossplane engine. That is the only engine that I would own outside of a triple, because there is a characteristic about triples. A triple is what's in this bike. The majority of Triumph motorcycles have a triple engine in them. There is something about the characteristic of a triple engine that I really like. It's so cool, man. I'm so happy to see the industry move in this direction. I am noticing the engine braking real quick. Engine braking seems a little light. I kind of want it to be a little better. Be better, engine braking, be better. Let's go. Oh my gosh, this is one of those bikes, man. You just want to get on it, red line to red line, and just have such a good time. This kind of throws me back to the Z900 I rode a couple weeks ago. It had no modes. It was an older model. It's like a 2017 or something like that. And one of the things I was talking about it, was it was a nice bike to just get on and ride because there was no settings you had to change. Oddly, I'm getting the same feel on this motorcycle. I don't know if it's just kind of the minimal front or what. I have this vibe of like there's nothing impeding me, and I have ride modes, I have settings I can change, but that's not really stopping me from having that feeling, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about the controls real quick. Everything kind of feels normal. It doesn't have that super plush feel that a Triumph typically has, but I kind of expect that for an $8,000 price point. I don't expect to have really nice buttons. These buttons are honestly more than I would expect, to be clear. I'm getting way more information here than I really have to have. It's really cool that I can cycle through it. I've even got a range that tells me when I've got how many miles I've got till empty. You know, I've got all this info. It's really cool. I kind of wish the mode button wasn't all the way at the bottom. I have a hard time seeing it or finding it for the first time. I feel like Triumph does a great job as far as their buttons. We've got a home button, a horn, blinkers, our OK button. Really simple setup. And one of the cool things about the setup is when we get off the bike, you guys are going to see this bike has that retro-y feel. You guys can probably see it from the camera car. A retro-y bike does not work with a big old group of buttons up here. So I think they've done a really good job of meshing the buttons in to kind of fit the overall look. Still wishing I had a little more engine braking. I want a little more. So guys, what do y'all think about the Trident over here?
Okay, well, I dig it a lot. I like the look. I like the setup. I haven't ridden it to know what the power plant feels like, but from the outside, I like it a lot.
I think it looks the business. It's got a very like modern retro style, which of course I super dig.
So smooth, man. That's a clutch thing to have because, like I told you guys, I really see this being as a really good bike for a lot of entry-level people. Having a really smooth clutch is going to make it so much easier to learn to ride. Because, when you're early on, you don't have that muscle memory in your clutch fingers, and you don't have that smooth open and close. So having a very smooth and weighted clutch makes it so much easier to learn that kind of muscle memory that you do eventually need and able to ride smoothly. And I think a lot of you newer riders are really going to enjoy that clutch. I think the lever's okay. I think it would look phenomenal with like a blacked out lever or something like that. But I got to appreciate the adjustable one over here. Let's pull off and let's take a look at this thing. We can talk about all the retroness. I wonder how many more years I'm going to be doing first rides until this church is eventually somebody approaches me from the church and it's like, could you not park here? That'd be great. All right, guys, 2021 Triumph Trident. What a cool name, too. All right, guys, there we are. You can't get much more minimal than that. And here's what I was talking about. Look, does that not look like a Triumph motorcycle? Right? It's got like the blacked out engine. Even on a price point bike, we have embling here. We've got the logo up here. We've got this cool, like, look at that. Look at the Trident and the logo. It's so cool. These are the Nissan brakes I was talking about. As you guys can see, we've got ABS in the front and rear, which is really nice. We've got dual brakes up front. We were testing those out, and you can definitely feel it. Look at the cool light, though. Look at that guy. LEDs everywhere. It's shocking what they were able to do for such a low price point. This is where I want a windshield. I want to attach something here and it to come out like that. Because the highway wind is pretty rough. Giving a little side profile. So look at the tail, dude. This is stock, by the way. We haven't done anything to this bike. A lot of people don't like this kind of coming off the swing arm situation with the license plate. I cannot disagree more. I love the look of this. Like, look at that. A stock motorcycle with a tail like that. So clean. It looks so good. This hugs the rear tire so close that it just blends in. From the back, the bike looks good. Look at that. They even got the logoing on the light. Like, it's an actual... It's so good, man. I'm impressed. We've got a little bit of cheap plastic here, and this little thing feels like a cheap plastic. But, I mean, if we're all going to be honest, they've got to do something, right? There's got to be some sort of cost savings, and that's where you're finding it in these little pieces. You're finding that in the frame. Instead of an aluminum frame, they have a steel frame, so the bike's a little heavier than something like the Speed Triple or the Street Triple. So the engine is based on the Street Triple, but it's using a few different internal components. So I don't know if those are heavier or made out of a cheaper material. That's how they're getting that cost down. And that is how this motorcycle can exist in the market. And it's also why that this motorcycle should exist in this market with the Street Triple. I can totally see now, having ridden this, seeing the price point, this is a bike to get you into Triumph motorcycles. From this, you go to the Street Triple, maybe you go to the Speed Triple. I don't know, man. I think this is a home run. But real quick, before I get too far down the show, guys, let's take our photo for Instagram. If you guys aren't following us over on Instagram, at C2WPics, it'll be right over there. Click over there and check the video out. Damn, bike look better when you get there low to the ground. Boom. I'm glad these Alpine Stars gloves have the little thing. That's very nice. I don't have to take them off. All right, guys. You guys know I don't do these videos to walk around motorcycles. I do these videos to ride motorcycles. So let's get back on this thing, and let's talk about who is this bike for? Why is this thing even in the market? Thankfully, it's in the market. All right. On your mark, get set, go. All right, guys. Let's finish this video up. By the way, I did notice, I just thought about it, I haven't really talked about the transmission. Got too excited about all the other stuff to talk about. Transmission feels very good. I'm getting a very tactile feel when I'm shifting. I have had no problems getting into neutral. Transmission gets a total thumbs up for me. Now that we hit that, I think I've hit on everything else of this motorcycle. There's so much to talk about with this. It's hard to put it all into one first ride. Who is this bike for? As far as who would I recommend this motorcycle for, seeing how well rain mode tones it down, I think there is no doubt about it that if you're getting into motorcycling and this bike does it for you visually, or you like the Triumph as a brand, if you are down for that, this is without a doubt the motorcycle to start on. I think the power is plenty ample to hold your attention for a much longer period of time than you would say on like a 300 or a 400. This is a type of motorcycle that you could start out on this, and as you learned and progressed, you know, you start putting it into road mode and you start like really getting on it. This bike is gonna last you a while, and for a price point that is only a couple $100 more than Yamaha's MT-07, I think this is a steal. You are getting a premium branded motorcycle who has all the fancy feels and looks of the premium brand that it's from, and you're getting that for only a couple $100 more than the Yamaha version. Like, big moves. Big moves. Very impressed with Triumph with this guy. You get a color dash. Like, there's just so much. So there's the entry-level rider, right? Look at somebody looking for their first bike, and they know they want this platform. They know they want this brand. Other than that, I could 100% see, for how cost-effective this bike is, if you've always wanted a Triumph and you already have some motorcycles, this, you could buy this, and this could be your like daily rider thing. I think the throttle response is phenomenal in road mode, and I think rain mode does such a good job tapering it down. It has ABS, it has traction control, so it has those couple rider aids that'll help you out. I could totally see somebody that has a Super Sport getting this as the bike that they go to work in or commute in, or just kind of like their daily rider, and then they have their fun bike that they ride around on the weekends. This bike is just packing so much into such a cost-effective platform that it opens that option up for a lot of people, and I think that's phenomenal that it's coming from this company. Would not have thought that this would have happened from Triumph. Entry-level rider, yeah. Person with other motorcycles that just wants a fun bike that they can put a lot of miles on, yeah. That's where I'm thinking this Triumph Trident lies, man. As somebody who's been riding for a long time, I have found myself having a phenomenal time on this. And if I can have fun on this thing, trust me, anybody can have fun on this thing. And guys, that's all I've got. I am Chaseontwowheels. I really appreciate you guys riding around with me. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and shout out to Triumph for letting us borrow this motorcycle. Who knows, if you guys react good enough, we might get one for a longer period of time, because I've got plenty of videos I'd love to make on this thing. I think that Triumph really hit it out of the ballpark with this guy. Also want to give a shout out to my guys at Mountain Motorsports. No, this bike did not come from Mountain, but without Mountain, I would not get to do most of the first rides that I do. So shout out to them. If you guys are looking for a brand new motorcycle, they have 6 dealerships up here in North Georgia, and you can sit on just about any type of motorcycle at least one of them. If you guys want Mountain info, you can find it in the description down below, as well as info for my boys over at Triumph. I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all go ride safe. Later. Outro crew. Were y'all like me and were like, why is this bike coming out when there's already a street triple out? Were y'all as shocked? Because I don't know what's going on in the world right now, but I really like it. Alright guys, I'm gonna go enjoy this bike a little bit longer. I'll see you guys on the next one. But make sure to put OC in your comment so I know you guys are in the outro crew, because you guys know I love you a little bit longer. Later.